This conference will now be recorded.
We are continuously working to leverage innovative tooling and technology to further improve our services and product offerings to our clients. An example of such an innovative tool is robotic process automation. RPA can be considered a powerful tool that is added to the traditional IT automation toolbox. RPA is a flexible tool that allows for agile automation of entire end-to-end back office and business processes while leveraging multiple systems, users, and platforms. By mimicking existing manual, transactional, and rule-based tasks, the robot becomes part of a new digital workforce. RPA unlocks the business case for the automation of a much wider range of processes. So how does it work? The opening of tertiary client accounts for curators in case of bankruptcies traditionally is a manually performed process due to the diversity of involved external applications and the number of handover moments. The following demo illustrates how Cosbank has roboticized this end-to-end process without modification to the existing IT landscape. At the right side of the screen, you can see how the robot software starts up the process automatically every morning while following the designed process flow. The robot starts by logging into the central mainframe system and then uploads all up-to-date client cases from Excel into mainframe. The robot navigates to the relevant submenu and starts to collect available bank account numbers. After selecting an available number, the robot proceeds to generate and lock in the new account, enriches the central curator and client data, and then sends an email to the curator to notify him or her of the successful account generation. The robot then navigates to the official court website, selects the right criteria, enters the bankruptcy details, and downloads the official bankruptcy declaration. The collected PDF file is then saved in the curator's applicable client subfolder using a standardized naming convention to ensure administrative hygiene. The robot navigates and logs into the WorldCheck website to perform a risk assessment of the bankrupted party. Subsequently, the risk assessment report is downloaded, saved, and filed into the applicable client subfolder. After all cases have been handled, a comprehensive status report is generated, filed for audit compliance, and then emailed to the relevant business units for monitoring purposes. The robot then logs out all applications and ends the process. You have now seen how RPA can be deployed on a full end-to-end process. Some of the key benefits include improved customer service levels with significantly reduced response times, a predictable error-free process that guarantees adherence to business rules, improved compliance and short implementation cycles supported by the business and IT. RPA is particularly effective for the automation of repetitive, transactional, and rule-based manual processes. The agile and non-invasive implementation approach allows for fast, effective, and high-quality automation of end-to-end processes. This enables our people to focus on what they do best, the further delivery of innovative and high-quality products and services for our clients.
So this is how robotic process automation is being used in the bank. Like for example, when we saw the video, we could see that MS Visio, where their process has been recorded as a maybe documented as a step-by-step process, as you see in the flow chart for a programming language. So when you have such a step-by-step process being done repeatedly, which doesn't involve much of intelligence, then those process can be automated using RPA. So what should be automated? If you ask me, I would say whichever is possible. If it is automated, it would be easier for a human life. For example, if I have some repeated steps that I do every day, if that is being automated, I need not do that repeated steps. I can involve myself in some other productive work. So, and again, if that repetitive steps consumes most of my time, for example, every day morning whenever I sign into my office, I start checking my mails, and only those important mails I start downloading the documents being attached, I save it in a separate file, and then I go and look into it and make decisions. If this is going to be the regular process that I'm going to do, it consumes most of my morning fresh time, because if I want to check n number of mails that comes into my inbox every day morning, maybe around 1 to 2 hours I might be spending just to scan into the mail and see which mail is important, which one I have to go through, and what are the documents attached, and how to download it, and where to store it. If that is going to be the repeated process that I'm going to do, then I can uh, automate that time consuming repeated steps. And if I deploy that robot every day morning, it will do that work within minutes. And several high risk tasks, for example, if there is a task which involves I have to go and check some rules, come back, make decisions, that rule checking can be automated because the rules are stored in separate places. The robots can go check for the rules. It can automate that process. The human error that is made by checking the rules and making the decisions can be made easier. So high risk tasks can also be automated. And task with low quality yield, for example, every day morning I have to see what are all the invoices that has happened in the morning. I take all the invoices, store it in an Excel sheet, and then see and then sort them based on the quantity and the amount sold, and then I make some decisions. These are all low quality invoices there. Only thing is I just have to go check it, take some of the values that are there in the invoice, store it in the Excel, then make some reporting. These are all low quality. It doesn't need any decision making. It is just copy paste and make some sorting kind of thing, then do a report. This low quality yield works can be automated. Tasks involving multiple people and multiple steps. See, for example, if there is invoice checking, I have accounts receivable department separately and accounts payable department separately, which just goes through the payable invoices and receivable invoices and makes report about what amount is to be collected from the customer, what amount I have to pay, and make the report. I have two different departments working on that, and which is again a repeated work being done, which is low quantity and quality, and it is also high cost involved. Those process can also be automated using RPA. Here, who can access which document, what kind of work, and they can do that. Rights can also be established. So when multiple people are working on a single process, each person will have their own restrictions and rights to access one particular software and use them. So those can be automated. And everything else, whichever you can write in a sequence. So first step, what I'm going to do, what is the second step, what is the third step, what is the fourth step, if you can write them in a sequence, all those activities can be automated. So what if I am, so everything can be automated. If you ask a normal human being, he will say every work that I do in a day, if it is automated, I'm happy, and I can just sit and see what is happening alone. But everything cannot be automated in RPA. RPA has its own restrictions, like it should have a well defined rule based steps. So when we saw the video in the bank, they had a steps to follow. So what is done first, what is done second, which document go and refer, which software to be deployed when I do the process. If I have a well defined and rule based steps, if something happens, what should I do? If something doesn't happen, if there is a person who didn't pay his EMI on a particular day, what should I do? If he is paying on a particular day, what it is to be done? If he is paying 5 days later, what is the interest amount I have to do, or whether I have to block the card, all those things, whether I have to send him a mail, whether I have to call him and talk, all those rule based step has to be well defined, and there should be a logics to be followed. Like if you are a computer person, you know there are if then else statements, so there is a logic to follow. There is a case statement, there is a logic to follow. But when I say if you are a computer person, you need to know if then else. But one big advantage of RPA that particularly with Uipath, is you need not know any computer language. Even without knowing the computer coding, we can use RPA, especially Uipath, to automate our process. So it is just that we should have a process, we should have a well defined steps. There should be a logic between first step, second step, third step, from the beginning to the end of the process. And input task can be diverted to the, so whenever there is an input, either if it is a fully automated process, the inputs will be taken from the input file given by the client, or if it is a semi-automated process, like I have to give the user ID password from my side, I do not want to store my user ID password in some file and RPA can go and refer it, then it is a semi-automated process. We have to give the user ID password. So input task, it can either be automated or it can be semi-automated, and it has to be directed into a software system. For example, if I'm doing a if I have to log in a particular website, take the data from that website and store it in an Excel file, then there is an input, what information is to be taken. Then login ID password will be an input for that. Then that input has to be diverted into the software system, which can be loaded into the website and the information can be taken. And input can be deciphered by software system with the available technique. So whatever input I give, if it is restricted to be seen by other people, even I can decipher the input using the software systems available. And the output system has to be accessible. So whenever I say this is my output, where it has to be stored, then that output system should be accessible for the RPA. And I will automate only those process which gives me cost benefit. So when I involve an RPA, there is a cost involved, there is a time involved, then whatever benefit I reap from automating a process, that value should be more than the cost that I have incurred. So if it satisfy all these conditions, then I will think of automating the process. So what are the techniques of automation? You can do desktop automation, like all the desktop activities can be automated. Customer software, so for example, customer relationship management software, if you have and you want to know about your customers, how they are accessing your website, how the orders are done, how the payments is being done, that customer software can be automated. Then run books, or if run book in the sense all the transactions happening and if it is being stored, that can be automated. There are some batch process also, for example, like neft transactions. So neft transactions are done in batches, so you can even make batch process as an automation. And you can do wrappers, browser automation. For example, if I have a client who wants to get every day morning the temperature of 100 countries, so I have to go and access several browsers and take the temperature information, store it in Excel file and send it to. So even the browsers that I access for doing a process can be automated. So these are all the techniques of automation. What are the benefit industries? There are several industries. Earlier when it was like screen scraping, ERP and artificial intelligence, very few big industries which had capability of deploying heavy servers and storage capabilities, and which can put in lots of money for their infrastructure, were using RPA automation process. But with the invention of cloud technology and cyber security, all those things, even a small scale industry, even as an individual, if I am a sole proprietor, I have several process which has a definite sequence and logic. Even as a sole proprietor, I can use RPA. So I cannot restrict these are the industries that are using RPA. But just to list down, I'm telling you, business process automation, all your call centers. Earlier days when you used to call some mobile phone network providers, and if you want to do a complaint, it might have taken around 10 to 15 minutes, because whenever you call them, they will ask all the information from you. What is your name, what is your mobile number, what is the address, and which pack you have done, and what is the problem you are having, all those things. But nowadays, if you call them, once you call them from the phone number itself, they have some automated process which will get all the information about you, and they will directly get into the problem, like what can I do for you, right? They have now stopped asking who's calling, what is your number, and what is the package you are having, all those things they have stopped asking, because those process has been automated. And as soon as you complete the call, and nowadays most of the time the customer person on the other side has started communicating with you than updating whatever you are telling on the system. So whenever you talk from the voice recognition, the computers are capable of recording whatever you are saying and taking that information and store it in an application for them to do a follow-up work. So nowadays all these business process automations have been automated, and the people who is attending the customer are diverted towards satisfying the customers with giving more better um, uh, services. So like RPA, it doesn't reduce the manpower, but it has uh, diverted them in doing some more intelligent process than doing the repeated process. And in healthcare also, uh, in healthcare, uh, every patient detail, every doctor who is attending the patient detail, the history of the patient right from the day he entered the hospital till he is getting discharged is being updated. And the medicines that are given to you, the reactions that gives to you, everything is being recorded. So when you go for the next time, they need not ask you from the beginning. Once they hit your number and the patient number, they will know everything till the last date you have been in the hospital, and they will start with the next process. And right from the day you entered and you leave, all the billing process, everything has been automated now. So the process is becoming easier. And even the people who are inventing new medicines, they will know if it is given for a trial run, they can store all the information, they will get then and there what is happening, so that they can make improvements to the process. So the speed in which the COVID vaccine has been developed and the information that they get from all over the world has been stored, and that has been used, and all these information. So if I am a person developing a COVID vaccine here in India, I need not wait for some person to do the process, send me the information, and the other person to transfer it to me. So all these process, when they are linked to each other, when they get an email or some report from the other person, they can automate it and they will get the report easily. So right from inventing a medicine, from patient details, everything has been automated. And if they have different branches of hospital in several places, it's like now becoming like a central banking system. Now healthcare is also becoming centralized one. So if you are taking an treatment here in India, if they have another branch in some place abroad, if you're going there, if you go there, even they will get your information. So healthcare industry is getting benefited by RPA. And insurance, of course, vehicle damage estimation. If you have the experience of skipping your insurance process, and if you are doing it little later after the due date, if you do not want to go to take your vehicle to that place for them to scan and do your insurance process, it is a tedious process. Now they have come out with a software which is combined with RPA. What they will do is they will send you a link. If you get into the link, what happens there is it will ask you to record several videos, like your RC book, your previous insurance, your license, then the video of the car that you're getting insured, inside, outside, your cabin, your engine, everything. They will ask you to take a video and post it. Based on that, they will give you the insurance. So now the process is becoming automated. No one is involved. It is just like you have to go, for example, Policy Bazaar, go there, you tell them that the due date is gone, so they will send you a link. In the link you post these videos, within a day, not even a day, within hours, the new insurance will come to your email. So vehicle damage estimation is now being automated. No person is involved. Only maybe they will call you to inquire about what is the amount, whether you are going for a third party insurance or a full insurance. Only for even that you will get a mail and you can do that. Everything is being automated in the insurance. If it had been the earlier days, if you have missed the due date, if you want to do a insurance, it was a very big process. It might take weeks together to do it, but now it is just minutes away. And of course in banking and finance, every process, if it is a banking, we know there is a process and they have a fixed sequence of activities being done. If they have that sequence of activities where no human intervention is needed, they can automate it. Then utility companies, of course. So all the utility companies are deploying RPA. So as I said, I have a video to show you how vehicle damage estimation is being optimized using RPA. So we will see that video and come back.
Insurance claims are a painful process that make customers unhappy and increase operational costs for insurers, largely due to disparate systems. Complex insurance contracts confuse customers and often result in incorrect or redundant claims. Uipath's intelligent claims process automation, damage assessment powered by insurers use simple web forms, mobile apps, and chatbots.
Ma'am, it is not audible. The video is not audible.
Yeah, I'll check. Just
Yeah. Okay.
Not audible.
By filing their name insurance claims are a painful process that make customers unhappy and increase operational costs for insurers. Complex insurance contracts confuse customers and often result in incorrect or redundant claims. Uipath's intelligent claims process automation, vehicle damage assessment, and chatbots.
Please increase the volume, ma'am.
yeah, it's full. I do not know why it's not audible.
Generate a claim by
But looking itself, they can understand. You need not hear this.
Uipath Robot
Yeah, ma'am.
system and pre-fills the claim based on the coverage eligibility. Factors such as vehicles and drivers. The claimant knows the coverage eligibility criteria.
So if you are not hearing, I'll tell you. So when they enter into the Uipath, if the car has met with an accident, if you want to go for insurance coverage, what happens is from the when you switch on the GPS location, your GPS locations will be loaded so that they will know where the accident has happened, and other things like which insurance is involved and who was in change of the vehicle, who was driving the vehicle. All those informations, when we start uploading, everything is being stored and then the process is being done. That is what is being shown here.
Needs a few clicks to submit the application. Throughout the process, Google Location Services is used to populate the accident location, and photos are uploaded to show the damage vehicle. A Uipath robot gathers all the information entered by the customer and uploads it into the Google Vehicle Damage Assessment solution. This solution takes data and applies artificial intelligence to assess the extent of damage on each of the distinctive areas outlined in the photos. A Uipath robot retrieves the damage assessment and updates the claim system along with the first notice of loss details and claim. Given this information, a robot constructs a vehicle damage report containing policy information, coverage information, the vehicle damage assessment, and sends this report as an email to both the customer and the claims adjuster. Insurers don't need to go through a lengthy and costly process of building a full stack portal to automate the solution. Uipath's groundbreaking
intelligent claims process automation powered by Google's vehicle damage assessment delivers increased claims efficiency, faster cycle times, lowered loss adjustment expenses to the insurers, while delivering superior customer experience to your customers.
So from the video, we understand whenever the vehicle has met with an accident, from the GPS location, they will understand where the vehicle has met with an accident. And if you upload your vehicle number itself, they will know who is owning the vehicle, whether the insurance is on date. And when you upload the damaged vehicle, with the help of Google Cloud, where they have the vehicle damage estimation software, you can use that software to understand how far the vehicle has damage, and for that damage what claim amount can be given. That estimation is made automatically. And yes,
Ma'am,
and that
ma'am, actually,
yes, you are not audible clearly. Could you please?
ma'am, any link on that site?
No, you're not clear. I couldn't understand. Could you please
Yeah,
post it on the?
you can post
Sure,
it
ma'am,
on the chat
definitely.
box.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, using that, the report is prepared and the report is being shared even with the customer and the person who is in charge of the insurance company. Then the process goes on. So this just takes a few clicks and few minutes to process the vehicle damage estimation. So that far the RPA has uh, is rapidly processing all the processes. So it speeds up the time taking process. So if a vehicle is damaged, you think if you're going for a damage estimation and going for a claim, I can understand it will take around weeks or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but now it's happening in few clicks only. What are benefits of RPA? I know if a PPT is to be presented, it should have few points, but when I think of benefits of RPA, I couldn't fix it in few points. I had to list down so much of it. So from the process itself, even without using RPA, we can understand that it is very versatile, it is very simple, it is scalable. You can access any number of software and applications and you can link them to a process. It is a time-saving one. You better customer service is done. Even employee satisfaction is higher because employee need not do the mundane work every day. They can divert themselves into doing much intelligent work than repeating the process. And as I said, several risky process can also be automated, where several rules are to be checked and the decisions are to be made. Those rules can be automated. Then human error can be reduced. So greater compliance is there. So cost is very less because you need not involve big infrastructure to do RPA. It is just enough to have a laptop, and with the help of cloud services of Amazon web services or Microsoft Azure, you can do RPA. RPA can do wonders with limited available resources, because with the help of several cloud services like software as a service, infrastructure as a service, storage as a service, you can access any number of softwares. You can involve heavy infrastructure and you have storage facilities to store the data. It is just to do a standard order procedure and record all those procedures, deploy into an RPA, and then just in a click all these things can be done by RPA. So with limited resources, even a small scale industry with less capital can reap the benefits of RPA. I would say even as an individual, if you think this process I am doing every day, I need not sit and do that. Then if you know these are the repeated softwares I'm going and accessing, taking the data, storing it in a place, preparing a report, you can automate it. So right from, I would not even say small scale industry, even an from the individual level to a big corporates can use RPA. So benefits are of RPA, like the capacity of RPA, benefits of RPA is also limitless. So what are the components of your RPA? So when I say RPA, you have to automate the process. So there should be something which helps you to automate the process. So there will be a development, you have a recorder. So whenever I say you should have a repeated process being done, and it should be in a sequence, and there should be a logical order being done, then all those process, all the keyboard entries that you, all the mouse clicks you mouse clicks that you do, the several web pages or several applications that you open, that has to be recorded in a sequence. So recorder is there, which will help you to record the process that you are doing right from the beginning till the end of the process. So everything can be recorded with the help of the recorder. Then development studio is the place where you develop the sequence, right? Once you record it, you have to tell them which comes first, which comes next. So what is the step-by-step process that development is being done in development studio. RPA is just a facilitator. We need several other software to support you. So those software are being accessed using plugins and extensions. So this plugin and extension is nothing but which will help you to access the abilities of several other softwares. Then bot runner is none other than the intangible robot which is hiding inside your system. So the exact robot is what they call it as a bot runner. So he used to run between the applications and softwares to do your process. And control center is the place where you initiate the process, deploy the process, and where you give the rights. So if I involve multiple applications and multiple people, I have to be very strict about what right is given to which user. So all those controls are being in the control center. So what happens here is, it is like doing a movie. Okay, you have to record it, you have to edit the process, you have to access several other applications, like you need to have a sound control, video control, lightings. So all those plugins happen, and then it is being recorded, that is, it is being stored, and it is run as a film. That film, one who is running the film is the bot runner, and you have to control it. So all these happens in these are the components of RPA, which is general to all the RPA providers. So if you have Uipath, they have all these components. We have Blue Prism, we have other RPA providers who use all these components to automate a process. So what is a recorder? As I said, like how you do a Excel macro recording, right? So you know what you have to do. Whenever you do a process, you start the macro recorder. The macro recorder will start recording all the mouse clicks, entries that you do. And when you run the macro, it happens. So similarly, it is restricted only to Excel, but in RPA, whatever you do right from the beginning, like opening a web browser, giving your user ID password, opening a website, getting into a particular menu, downloading an invoice, taking the values, entering into the Excel, sorting in the Excel, from the Excel putting it in the PPT or a PDF. So you can access multiple applications and softwares, and all those activities are being recorded. So it records each and every mouse clicks and keyboard movements that you do. So when you, so first time, so everything what you have to do it for the first time, of course it is a tedious process. You have to first develop a flow chart, right? If you have been working with MS Visio, or if you are working in a any industry, you have always to do a SIPOC document or a standard order procedure, right? When you are going for some ISO kind of thing, you have to do the documentation. So in the documentation, what we do, we record all our SIPOC standard input, process output, and users document, right? So that is IPOC document and your standard order procedure. So if they come to and ask you what is your work, you have a standard order procedure to do. So first process is very difficult because you have to sequentially know what happens in your process. You have to develop a flow chart, then sit and do the process once, record it. So first time recording is difficult and it is a time consuming process. Once it is done, then when you deploy this robot, then it is rapid automation. So then it happens in a click of a mouse. Then the development studio, as I said, this is where you have to deploy. This is where we deploy the robot. We train the robot. We tell him, okay, first go and open the website. In the website, type this URL path. After typing this, you will get a window like username, password. Type in the username, password. If not typing in, ask the person who is sitting there to type in the user ID, password. Enter into the website. Go to this menu. So everything you have to train the robot, the intangible robot. That is nothing but you have to develop the sequence. So that is the development studio. Then extension and plugins. Most platforms offer plugins and extensions. Like if I show you the Uipath, you will understand all that what process you have in the Excel. Everything is being given as a plugin. So Yamini, should I?
Yes, ma'am. Just for few seconds.
Now? Yeah, sure.
Now. Yes. Mr. Shiva, sir. Shiva, sir, can you unmute?
Thank you, madam. I'm Ravi. I have to take over.
Everybody is audible now, I think. This is the salary bracket for I4.0 professionals. You can see the game changes. This name designation, new designation, like data scientist, ML engineer, data engineer, data analysis, computer vision engineer. These are the new designations going to create in future. So those who are training in this designation, their salary package will be starting from 8 to 30 lakhs, depend upon the skill level. So this is why we want to show it. This is not only for the computer science graduate. This is for everybody, because already ma'am also told that this is even from healthcare profession, in medical doctorate, even from engineers, everybody can become this designation. But the package is very far from the existing package. As everybody knows that the initial package only 2 lakhs that we are getting for our engineers, but this is starting from 8 to 10 lakhs. This is this is the package available.
Sir, your voice is not audible. Shiva, sir. No, sir, your voice is not audible. Okay, fine. So the course,
Yes, sir.
the average. Yeah, now okay, sir.
Yeah, this course is package is 49,000 rupees. This already I explained about the hours. 70 hours basic training, 40 hours for the major courses, whatever their people are selecting. Then 2 certificates will be given. Here what we are going to emphasize is there is a placement, 100% placement assistance we are providing. For that, you have to do the registration by paying 4,900 rupees. For the package, we have two packages. One is for 120 hours is 49,000. If for 9 technologies, for 85 hours for 6 technologies, 30,000 rupees. So you pay initially for registration fee 4,900. Remaining amount can be paid when you join for the actual batch. Because a lot of people having the problem, they may having exams currently, or they may not join the program immediately, but they can register. Why we are insisting on register is the seniority. If you register first, your placement, then other this one will get a seniority. This is the main motto we are emphasizing on registration. There is a payment link, everything is available. People go there and find the payment link. So that's what we want to explain to the people. So already I explained this opportunity for all the working professional, students, each and every person can utilize this process, and they can go to our website and register. So
And
over
sir,
to, yeah.
so
Any questions we
e-certificate
can.
available?
Yeah, you certificates will get during this session. You will get the link.
Application
You fill up the link.
initiation.
Yeah, yeah. You will get this link
Okay,
during
sir,
the
thank
session
you.
end. Okay.
Right, so thank you so much.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, if you have any doubts, please put in chat box.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Over to Emily. Yeah.
Thank you,
You
sir.
can get. Yeah.
Mrs. Renuka Devi, ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, Yamini.
You can handle the session, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks
Yeah, sure.
for your time. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome. I need the screen sharing facility, please.
Yes, I think you are good.
Yes, sir. So as someone asked, the development studio is the place where you give the, so once after you do the recording is just you will be recording all the steps that you do. So in RPA, you have two process. One is activities and other is the sequence. Activity is the every single mouse click or the keyboard entries that you give is called an activity. When they are linked to each other in a sequential step, that is called a sequence. And development studio is the place where you do that sequence. Okay, so this is where I will, when I do the sequence, it is like training the robot. I tell the robot to do which one first, which one second, which one third, if there is a decision to be made, if then else. So if this happens, what it should, where it should go, if that process doesn't happen, where it has to go. So that flow charting is being done in this development studio. So development studio is like putting your MS Visio documentation into the software. So that is what we do it in development studio. From the name itself, we can understand it is the place where we develop the sequence of activities to be done after doing the recording.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
This is Ramdas. So
Yeah,
regarding
please.
any programming language, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Hello. Yeah. So regarding the, you have said that there is no requirement of using the programming language in this RPA, right? For suppose if
Yes.
at all, if we want to include any programming language, so where we need to keep that one in the development studio and the sequences or anything else?
Sir, actually what happens here is, for example, if I do a process, if there is, say for example, if after doing the Excel recording, I have a C programming to do access this Excel, take the input, do some process in the C where you have done some programming in the C++ or SQL, whatever you have done. This the programming is done separately. That programming part has nothing to do with RPA. That program can be developed by some software person. That program can be accessed in RPA.
Okay. At which place, ma'am, we can access that one? In the development studio itself or some other place?
No, in the recording session, you have to record. So for example, I go for a website, take the input, store it in the Excel. This Excel input as a CSV file or as an Excel file, it is being accessed in the C programming. It is an activity in the sequence. So that activity, so you have to record that activity, like go and open a C programming language.
Okay. Okay.
So that recording has to be done. Then sequence is done in development studio.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir. So these are the extensions and plugins, as I now said. So if I want to use the C++ programming in my RPA, then I will be accessing it as an extensions and plugins. Bot runner is now none other than our hero of RPA, our robot, who will be doing all the process in our place. So it is called bot runner in general. In Uipath, they call it as a robot. Control center is the place where I initiate the robot. If there is a place, if I want to stop the process, I will stop the process. If there are multiple people being involved in a particular process, say several departments are accessing one particular application, I have to give what right is to be given, whether they can do the reading, whether they can change the process. All those rights are being given in the control center. So these are the platforms in RPA which is being used by several providers for developing a automation process. So when I say RPA, there are like cloud technology, like artificial intelligence technology. There are several providers who will help you to develop the RPA process. The leading person is Uipath because of its cost efficiency. Cost is very less. You have even the community cloud where you can do the Uipath at a free of cost. You have some restrictions. You can only deploy few robots and few process can be done. There are enterprise version. If it is a big company, they can go for enterprise version, and it is being done on a pay by use way. And you don't need any programming. Say for example, as someone asked, if I want a C programming, that programming part is done by the programmer. If you are a person, you are using that programming, then it is just you have to go and access that program, right? So you don't actually need any programming knowledge to develop a robotic process automation. So Uipath is just like click, drag, and put that particular process inside the window. It is all like a click and drag process. So Uipath is the leader now in the market, and the companies, many companies have started using Uipath. Automation Anywhere is little costlier than Uipath, and only big enterprises will go for Automation Anywhere. Then comes the Blue Prism. So these are the leaders. Among them, as I said, Uipath can even used by an individual also. So that is what makes us as a market leader. There are several providers and they have their own restrictions, and mainly why do we call them is because of the strategy they have. So Uipath has advanced strategy. They will help you to access any software or a package and being involved in the automation process, and they offer you even the free of community cloud. So there is a community cloud where you can go register yourself, download the Uipath community cloud, and start working in the studio for recording and developing the process automation, and you can use it in your day-to-day life. So what are the so as I said, this will compare between the advantages and disadvantages of automation anywhere, Blue Prism and Uipath. Uipath leads it because of the best value. It is a low cost one. Even a small scale industry can use the Uipath. And as I said, it has a community edition, and training the bots is very easy. Very simple and quick. You need not know anything. It is just that you should know what is the process, what are all the packages I'm getting, what is the input I have to give, and how they are logically related to each other. Once you know the process from top to the end, just you have to go access that particular process which is being listed. You don't even have to know the technical name of it. If you know I have to filter it, so I have to do a Excel filter. If you go and search it, you have Excel filter, just click and drop it in the studio. It happens very easily. So it is very simple and easy. Even you can, after this session, you just go to Uipath, register yourself, download Uipath Studio in the community cloud, start using it. You can easily do the process. What is the disadvantages? Only the limited security features, but if you have the cloud and cyber security knowledge of doing this, this can be strengthened. And very limited features are given as a free of cost. So whenever you add some advanced features, based on the features that you're accessing, you have to pay. And again, it is a pay on use basis only. So whatever you use, you pay for it. That's all. Than owning a particular software, if you just pay for the limited resources that you are using, then again it is cheap only. So product support needs to keep pace with the enhancement. So whenever there is some updation in your process, then you have to do it manually. And of course this happens in all the processes. Here it is easier because it is just click and drop. But if it is some other play, you have to have some programming language knowledge in automation anywhere and all. So Uipath, when compared to the other providers, Uipath is very cost efficient, easy to use, and easily understandable one. And as I said, Uipath can be, if you have Windows operating system, it is easy to download. It works in Windows only. If you are a Mac user, then what you have to do is you have to go for the cloud, the virtual systems. Either you have to go for VMware or VirtualBox. You have to install VirtualBox, then inside that have the have the Windows, then do the Uipath, because Mac users cannot access Uipath because it is developed for the Windows operating system and the Linux operating system. So if you are a Mac user, you have to first install the virtual VMware or VirtualBox. So it is nothing but computer inside a computer. If you are a Mac user, you will allocate some of your space for this VirtualBox. So VirtualBox will be like another computer, and you can install any operating system. Like you can even go for Unix, Linux, or Windows. So once you upload Windows as the operating system in the VirtualBox or a VMware, then in that you can download the Uipath Studio and start working on it. Since I am using Mac, and if I access VMware and then Studio, it takes lots of time to deploy it. So I'm just showing you the demo, where another in YouTube they have some demo for doing a very simple process. So once you see that, you can understand it is a very simple process. It is like you have to go open a website, give your name, it will give the relevant unicorn name and store it in a text file. So it is a process. So what here I do is, first I need to open a web browser, enter the URL, the page will open, it will have a window, it will ask for a name, you have to enter the name. Once you enter the name, click OK, it will give the relevant unicorn name for you. Once it is given, it has to take that name given to that, go to a text file, put it in the text file and save the text file. So here I know what I do from the beginning to the end. I have a sequence of activities, one after the another being done. When I know this process, I will just go do this process. When I do this process, it is being recorded in UiPath. Then once you run it, it will happen. So if than giving the name as every time asking for a name, if I have a Excel file having the list of name, I can make UiPath go refer the Excel file, take the name, excuse me, get the relevant name and being stored. So first we'll see the demo here.
Hello and welcome to Uipath Studio, the professional development tool for robotic process automation.
The video is little faster. Excuse me, the video is little faster, so I'm slowing it down.
Ma'am,
Studio, the professional development tool for robotic process automation, or RPA for short. Today, I'm going to walk you through building your first automation using Uipath Studio. Before we get started, let's have a quick look around at a few important details. The Tools tab is the place to go to install extensions that enable Uipath to automate many common application types. For example, to automate web applications, you'll need to install an extension for your browser of choice, like Chrome, Firefox, or Edge.
Excuse me, I'm not sure why it stopped.
Uipath Studio, the professional development tool for robotic process automation, or RPA for short. Today, I'm going to walk you through building your first automation using Uipath Studio. Before we get started, let's have a quick look around at a few important details. The Tools tab is the place to go to install extensions that enable Uipath to automate many common application types. For example, to automate web applications, you'll need to install an extension for your browser of choice, like Chrome, Firefox, or Edge. But if you use Internet Explorer, no extension is required. Okay, let's go back to the Start tab. From here, we can open existing projects stored locally or on version control systems. With a click, we can open one of the recent projects, or we can create a new project from a template. And Uipath Studio offers many templates, depending on what you're trying to do.
So I will try to explain this. This is how the UiPath will look like when you open. So we can either open an existing project. Say, for example, if you're joining a company as a new employee, they might have some other projects already being deployed. You can go open it and do that. Or you can do a new project. You by yourself can create a new project. And here are few templates already being recorded by the UiPath. So UiPath, after doing research, they know these are the process being used by many companies. So they by themselves have developed some templates, like you have the document templates in Microsoft Word, right? You just have to go and give your documents then and there. Here also they have the template already being recorded. Just the thing is, you have to go and give your process, the name of the process there, then you can easily do that. So we already have some templates to do that, or we can do a process by ourselves itself. So this will show you how to do a process.
For our purpose today, let's start with a blank project. We'll give it a name and click Create. When the project finishes creating, we see this main screen.
So we will do the recording. So this is the place where, see, you can see the recording. So you will start recording, or this is the place where you do the recording. That is, you just click from here and place it here. So whatever you do, you will be placing that particular window here, and you will developing the logic. So this is the developer studio in Uipath.
To get started, click to open the main workflow. And this is the design.
So this is the design window. This is where you will start recording. So if you click plus here, you will start adding the activity. So as I said, there are two things, activity and sequence. Activity are the every single event that you do in the process, and when you link them, it becomes the sequence. So this is the place where you record and you also develop it.
Basically, the canvas where we'll add activities. The activities are the building blocks of any automation. An activity replicates a manual task that you would perform on your computer, a click, a selection, or anything like this. Now to add an activity in my automation, I can click the plus here, which will open the command palette. I can use it to search for activities using keywords. Or I
say, as I said, it is just enough if you know what you are going to do. So if you want to open a browser, you can click open browser. You will get a window here saying that you have to open a browser. So if you want to write a line, or you want to get the text from the person, you will go for get text. So it is enough if you know the process and what you are doing there. From searching here itself, if you say filter, it will get all filter activities. It could either be in an SQL or in Excel. Wherever you have that filter as a keyword, everything will be listed. From that you can select it. So it is just enough to know your process very clearly in a sequential manner. Then deploying a robot is very easy in Uipath.
I can browse the activities panel here and see things categorized. Today, we're going to automate this unicorn name generator. It's going to ask for a name, so we'll say John Doe. We'll click Get Name, and there it is. Then we'd copy this name and do something with it. All right, let's grab the URL and go back to Studio. The first thing that we'll do here is ask the user for their name. This is done using an input dialog activity, and this needs to have a title. Since this is a string, we need to put it in quotes, like this. The second thing is the actual label. We'll say, what is your name? We'll get the name of the user, and then we'll want to store it. We'll need a variable, which we can create here in the Variables tab. Let's call it user's name. Back to the input dialog in the Properties panel, it has this result field. I'm going to start typing users, and it's going to show the variable. Click on it, and it's where the input of the user will be stored. The next thing that we need to do is automate the browser, and there's a dedicated activity for this called Open Browser. It needs the URL.
So as I said, see, you can see the name as sequence. So there are two things. Whatever you do here, this is an activity. Getting your name is an activity. Opening a browser is an activity. So there are activities. If you are linked together, see the arrow mark. So this is called linking together. So this is where you develop the sequence. This is called the development studio. So you have the sequence. So this sequence will have the activities being linked in a logical way. So this is where you record, and this is the development studio here. So once you deploy it, if I start running it, then your robot will run.
Which we have, just need to paste here. Make sure that it's between quotes. In the Properties panel, you can choose the browser type that you want to work with. If we leave it blank, it will default to Internet Explorer. I prefer to work with Chrome today, so I'll choose it from the drop-down list. The first action to do when the browser opens will be to type into, just like a user would do. It's going to ask for the element inside the browser. When I click on this, Studio will go away. Normally, it would have brought up the application behind Studio, but in our case, Chrome is minimized. Let's bring it back with Alt-Tab, then click on the text box that we want to type into. It's going to ask me what I want to type. I want to type the value stored in the user's name variable. Then we'll add a click activity to the Get Name button. And then finally, I want to use a Get Text activity to get the generated name back from the label. So we'll indicate the name field here inside the browser. And just like for the input dialog earlier, I need to store the value somewhere. So let's do it differently this time. By using the Control-K shortcut in Studio, a new variable will be created. We'll call this unicorn name. All of the variables in Studio have a defined scope. In our case, it means that we can only use it inside the do sequence. It's a best practice to only set the scope of the variable where you need it. Well, we're going to need it outside this, so let's promote it to be the entire sequence. The final thing that I want to do with the retrieved unicorn name is to save it for later use. We can put it in all sorts of places, but today I'm going to store it in a text file. Let's add a write text file activity. What text do I want to write? I want to write the unicorn name. And where do I want to write it? We'll just call it name.txt, and since I haven't provided a path, it will be saved into the project folder, and we'll see it show up here. With that, let's go ahead and run the entire project using the debug mode. We can start it using F5 or by clicking here. Notice how Studio goes in debug mode. It's popped up a prompt asking me for my name. We'll say John Doe. I can see Chrome launching, typing the name, clicking the button, and now it's done. If I refresh my project, we can see the name.txt. We can open the file from here with a double click. And here's the unicorn name, just like I had here in Chrome. It's that easy to build automations in Uipath Studio. Thanks for watching.
This is a simple program. So when you can automate this process, because it had a sequence and you know what happens next, then you can record it and do it. So now the session is open for questions. You can ask questions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Maybe
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very good.
Some few participants raised the question. Ma'am, I will read one by one. You can answer the questions, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, sir. I'll do that.
Yeah, the Darpan Patil yes, raised a question. Can there be a difference between A and RPA? If yes, then what can be? On what parameters this both technology AI and RPA can differ?
Okay. Artificial intelligence, RPA can include artificial intelligence. Like artificial intelligence is a place where you use some artificial intelligence technologies to do the process. This process can become a part of your RPA. For example, I get data, the temperature data from a website. If I want to develop a say for example, I want to do a trend analysis and do the forecast for the next day, then I use artificial intelligence to do the forecast. That forecast result is being put on a website. That is an artificial intelligence process. This process can be automated using RPA. So that is what the linkage between RPA and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence was there before RPA. When RPA came, artificial intelligence became a part of RPA.
Thank you, ma'am. One more question from S. Gunavati. RPA is a robotic software or software robots, ma'am? Like that question to be answered.
I think he is asking whether RPA is the name of the software or it is RPA is the name of the technology, right? RPA, robotic process automation, is the technology. Uipath, then automation anywhere, Blue Prism are all the software providers. So that they are the software providers where you can do the RPA. So RPA is the name of the technology.
One more person, Golapudi Satya Siva Ramdas. Please explain a development studio side slide once again, like that they asked. You can tell some
Yes,
few.
sir. I think yes, sir.
She
I
did,
saw
sir.
that question and I have answered that. I have explained that again.
Explain once again, yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
She did.
Okay, no
Fine.
issue, no issue, ma'am. So
I
just
think
I will
someone
go
has
through
asked.
any.
One more question. Karkavel Raj. Is RPA useful in education? He asked.
Sir, actually, I am into the education field. I have used RPA in my field is like whenever I give them an online test. So all those process, I have my questions being stored in the Excel. My RPA process, what it will do is after 2 weeks of time, once I say today the portion has been completed, once I update that in my LMS, my RPA, what it will do is after 2 weeks of time, it will go access the Excel file, upload all my Q&A in the LMS. It will set how to shuffle the questions for each person. Then when the person is attending the test, the test will be evaluated, the marks will be stored in the Excel file, and result analysis is done, and that result analysis is again posted in the LMS. This process I have automated, so of course it is useful in education also.
Yeah, one more question from Charu. Can we regulate Instagram feed and story for the whole month from RPA? Charu has asked,
Yes.
can we regulate
Okay.
Instagram and story
Can
for the whole month from RPA?
Yeah, actually, what I have done is my PhD work is like I am doing sentiment analysis of investors. So what I have done is I have set a particular date. Say for example, when government announced demonetization, my RPA, what it will do is it will go access the Twitter. It will take 15 days before and after that particular date of the BSE Twitter postings. It will take all those Twitter records and it will store it in the Excel. So similar process can be done in Instagram also. So you can, of course, if you have the process being, as I said, you need to know if you are regulating that it manually using a specific activities, you can record it and do it in the Instagram also.
Yeah, ma'am. One more question from Darpan Patel. So what level of security can be there in RPA?
As I said, if I take Uipath, in Uipath security level is low, but in Blue Prism and Automation Anywhere security level is higher. But if you have some knowledge about cyber security and if you have installed all those security levels in your institution, and there are also the control centers where you give the restrictions for the users, what kind of access they can have to particular process. In that way, of course, you can make it a more secured one.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you answered for all the questions. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the participant to valuable attend the valuable session on RPA. Yeah. I want to explain that people are investing money on assets, but invest money on education. It will give you multiples of 30 multiples to everybody. That is the final thing I want to tell to everybody. So invest money on education. Definitely, it will come back on multiples of 30 times. Not like assets. So for a right person, right teacher, right education, right subject, 100% everybody will successful in the life. This 9 technology is going to lead for us for another 30 years. Please start investing on 9 technologies. As I already told, please everybody choose for the registration and avail this facility. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone. Thanks a lot.